All right, we'll get started here. Max, go ahead.
Uh, Thoughts about this week's training, getting ready for uh, an uncommon opponent. I think the LAFC's played this team once there, and it was 2018. But just about that, something different and new for the team.
Yeah, so I psychologically, this opponent is in a similar situation as our opponent last weekend was, and there are certain ways to approach games like this. But we are facing a team who desperately wants to win, who needs to win, who's at home, and so we'll expect a team to give 100% in all categories, and we need to be ready for that. Looks like there'll be some weather as well that we need to deal with. So this game has potential to be tight, has potential to be exciting, but it also has potential to be very difficult. And we are in a position where we are more focused on results than we are performance. I think our performances have been pretty good, but we would like to string some positive results together, and that's where our focus is for this weekend.
I was telling this to Ryan, but just with Mark going to his old stomping grounds and so forth. Any plans about experience Montreal before or after?
Is it a question for Mark or for me?
For you. Well, he's to show you around.
Well, I've heard Montreal is an incredible city, and but when the sun shines, and that doesn't happen very often. So, and it's not looking pretty on the radar. So, I don't know. We'll find out when we get there.
Maybe look for some different looks at this game to see. Obviously, with the busy stretch afterwards. I mean, I know you focus on this game, but maybe seeing what you might have for the busy summer.
Yeah, we always have an eye on the summer and the schedule moving forward for sure. I think we do a good job here at LAFC of, at the same time, keeping on task, which is gathering points in the MLS. And but having a busy summer seems to be consistent with all of the years here at LAFC, and we like that. So we're excited about the opportunity. In a little over a week, but I think winning this game in Montreal would be the best message we can send for ourselves, to our fans, and obviously for our opponents moving forward.
How are you with the depth of the team? I know after the game you said some guys were coming off because obviously busy week. How are you looking about how many guys, the width and breadth of your roster that you can rely on?
Yeah, we have a full roster, so that's great. And the game against Seattle showed both sides. You rotated a little bit. I think we had 5 starters rotate. Those players who rotated in did fantastic. We didn't miss a beat. And then making the subs we made, they came in a very, very good way. So I think that game is a great example of what we can do while we rotate. The rotations and the against the Galaxy were a little different, but that is at the back end of a busy week. There's some fatigue involved there. There's the special moment of the game. So we are looking for better individual performances against Montreal, and and for those who get on the field as subs, those subs need to be effective in order for us to come away with 3 points.
Thanks, Steve.
Next, we'll go online. Josh Gross, go ahead.
Thanks. Hey, Steve. Just in terms of the health of the squad, the only name on the player availability list that I saw last week was Maxime Chanot with the head. Just any update on him and what his prognosis situation looks like?
Yeah, Max is fine. He's back in full training.
Okay. As far as where this match falls, clearly coming after an emotional El Trafico, and then you have a major match against Club America. Talked to Ryan a bit about this, but just in terms of keeping the focused attention on this league match, do you need to have it squarely on this game, or can you allow your guys or yourself to look ahead at all towards what's coming? It sounded like Ryan was sort of tying in a good result here in Montreal helps us for America. Do you agree with that's how you should be looking at it?
Which Ryan were you speaking to?
Hollingshead.
Okay. Every team you're involved with, whether that's a player or coach, from my perspective at least, is different. Each team can prepare differently and needs different preparations. in my experiences with this particular group, I think we need to train well to play well, and that every day. And I don't think we can just take breaks and just say, oh, but in a week I'll be fine. That's not how this works for this particular team. And so every day needs to be good in order for us to play well in Montreal. And we had a good week of training today especially, and I'm looking for the same tomorrow in order for us to perform well on the weekend. And that is the best way to prepare for Club America.
Have you done any kind of scouting or work with the team as far as America goes, or is that fully reserved for next week?
The team will be approached next week, but obviously the coaching staff is finished with their preparations, with the exception of their match tonight against Toluca.
Okay. And just as far as where you guys are, the opponent you face, Montreal, what hasn't been working for them this year? Where do you feel like they can suffer and you guys have advantages on them?
Not getting too much into reading into other clubs' problems. I don't know. I'm not there on a daily basis. I don't know what context, where they're coming from and where the problems are. That's not my responsibility, nor will I comment on other teams. I can tell you what we see on the field as far as opportunities for us, where our matchups are favorable, and where we think there are some opportunities. I do see some opportunities in us. With a little bit of their man orientation, the way they defend, breaking them down and trying to play in behind as much as possible. I think that is one area where we can expose. And I think for our players also understanding when to take risks and when not to take risks. And obviously defensively, that's a team, from our perspective, our defensive responsibilities need to be to not be as passive as we were last week against the Galaxy, be a little more aggressive, stay connected, and defend as far away from our goal as possible. Montreal has shown they can be effective off of crosses. Physical players up top will hit a lot of crosses, and I think our players need to be ready for that, and the best way to defend that is to not allow them to cross, obviously.
And one last for me, you don't often travel and then have a day where you work out before the match. That happens, but it's not like the regular. You're doing that this time. Is it just the distance of the travel? Is that why you're factoring that in? Why you're going to train in Montreal on Friday?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
We have one more East Coast trip in Boston, and we'll do the same then.
Cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Farthest road trip of the season this weekend. How have preparations gone for you and for the team?
Yeah, good. Having a week between games is big after the congestion we had early in the season. Being able to have a full week preparation lead up is super helpful. These trips are, no joke. It's a long flight, heavy legs, major time changes. It's brutal, but we're used to it now. So we've done it before, and we're definitely going there to get 3 points. So that's the goal.
The opponent is coming off a big loss to its rival. What kind of response do you expect from them against you guys in this next match?
Yeah, they're going to be hungry. They're still fighting to get some points there in the Eastern Conference. It's been a rough season for them so far. They're fighting for jobs and their next contract, so those teams can sometimes be the most dangerous. I think our guys know well what it's going to take. We're also in really good form right now and undefeated in our last couple weeks. So looking to build on that and looking to keep going and add 3 points to the table.
So you expect them to kind of come out, be a little fiery. Like you said, you guys have your streak of your own. How do you counter the energy and the momentum that they're going to bring from the beginning of that game?
Well, they don't have a ton of momentum. They're in a bad spot for their season, so they're going to be struggling with confidence. And so in a game like that, it's important for us to start well and not give them a moment to get into the game, because these teams they have so much talent on these teams, and sometimes you just get stuck in this rhythm of bad results. And so if we let them get into the game and get into a rhythm, that confidence will grow, and then they can show their skill and show what kind of team they are. And so our goal is to go there and stop that from happening, keep them thinking that they're not going to have a chance in this game.
High likelihood of rain this weekend. Do you like playing in the rain? Do you have any favorite games that you've played in, maybe when you were a kid or as a pro, playing in the rain?
That's a great question. We've had some crazy games here: rain, snow, sleet, all of it. But I think the guys know what to do. Like, we know how to compete in the rain. It's always a little bit more of a equalizer across the field. The rain and the elements, they just kind of equalize the skill of the game and make the game maybe a little bit more simple. So not ideal, but again, we'll be ready for it. And it's not anything that we haven't dealt with before.
Okay. All right. We'll look to take some questions online. Josh Gross, any questions for Ryan?
I just hopped on, so I didn't hear any of your answers previously. So if I'm covering ground you already covered, just let me know. But this match kind of falls between some high stakes game against the Galaxy and obviously a really high stakes game against Club America. So just wondering about your feelings. Is that something you have to figure out? How do you get around the chance of a letdown? What do you make of sort of the mental approach to this match in particular, sandwiched between what you guys faced?
It's I think this match for us is going to be the most important. Going into Club America and having a good result here in Montreal will be huge. Coming off a loss or a disappointing game and then trying to rebound and be ready for Club America will be much more difficult. So the goal is clear, has been clear all week, that it's to get 3 points in Montreal. The squad is ready. Everybody feels good. We had a week to prepare, so it doesn't get much better. And to keep that rhythm going of where we're at, you want these games. You don't want big breaks. You don't want spaces in between. You want to be able to just keep playing and growing and responding as a team. So, still a result on the road at Galaxy. If we can go get a result here in Montreal going into Club America, I think that puts us in a really good spot to go play and go get some points. So we're also, I think, we've been rotating and trying to get fresh legs in with all the congestion that we've had, and I think we've gotten to a point now where it's like we need just the consistency of getting 3 points, not losing more points in regular season play, and so we'll be ready to go in Montreal.
Anything else, Josh? Okay. Max, go ahead.
All right. Fullback's always involved in the attack a lot. Can you take us through the combination with Nathan and that pass? What's going through your mind, and in general about how you and Sergi or Artem are involved in creating those opportunities?
Yeah, it's very much our style of play here. Outside backs that get forward in the attack and help provide support in the attack. I like getting forward. I like getting into these spaces. I'm just in these big moments trying to produce anything I can for the team and trying to get us in the best possible spot. So trying to run at players, trying to attack them, trying to get them out of position. And so that's what happened on this goal was, picking the ball up wide, cutting inside, making players have to switch who's going to try to pick me up as I run through the middle. And then as soon as they switch and there's that gap that opens up, Nate made an amazing run and a well-weighted ball to kind of put him in and good finish. So it's definitely not a surprise that LAFC uses fullbacks to get forward and to help their attack. It's something that we do constantly. So glad to be able to help in those ways. Glad to be able to get an assist. A lot of my movements forward, I don't get the stat for or get an assist for, or like I deflect it and then it deflects again and then a goal, or I get fouled in the box for a penalty and a goal, like those sorts of things where you don't get a stat, but it's fun every once in a while to get an actual stat. So
We'll talk to the analytics folks because maybe they can add that. Because I know contract time.
No. It's not about that. It's not an analytics thing. These guys, it's how the game that's how the game works. And a lot of defending is that way anyway, right? Lots of clearances, things that don't show up on the stat sheet. So it's not about complaining about that, but it is about it is fun to see your name on there when you've put in a good assist.
You mentioned a good run by Nathan. Obviously, he's doing things right. When you after that goal, I mean, what do you say to him, or what have you encourage him to see him continue to make that development, and what have you seen from that perspective about what he's doing right?
Yeah, he offers us so much in the attack, right? He's so quick, good with the ball at his feet, can get in and out of tight spaces. So he's got a lot of skill, and I think his next step in what he's continuing to do this year and showing he can do well is a little bit more of his vision, seeing a play ahead of time, knowing what he wants to do with the ball before he gets it, having an idea before it comes to him. And I think in the past, and just younger when you're in football, it's more like you get the ball and then you decide what you want to do. And especially when you're that skillful, you can always get out of whatever you're in. So you don't have to really be thinking ahead because you can just get the ball and then make a move and get out. And at this level, it's not the same. So seeing him make good runs, seeing him know what he wants to do with the ball before he gets it, seeing him position his body in such a way that he doesn't even have to take a touch, he can just finish first time. Those are all little things that people don't see, but he's been growing in and doing really well. That puts us in really good spots to finish, and then his just athleticism and his skill takes over in those moments too. So he's got this innate ability, and when you match that up with his desire to grow and his desire to learn, it's huge for us.
Any time for like a nice dinner in Montreal, and you have Mark. I'm sure he's got a lot of music called Maxime.
I tell you what, yeah, Mark is been over the moon over here this last week, getting ready for Montreal. He loves Canada, so he loves all of it. I don't know what the schedule is yet. I'll leave that to these guys, but it'll be good. I think anytime you get a little bit more time as a team, it's good for bonding and spending time together.
Yeah, if you need routine, do it after.
That's
game,
right.
Not before.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Josh, go ahead.
Thank you. I did have a follow-up, but I was muted myself. So I appreciate the time. Again, of similar vein to what I'd asked you before, just in terms of personally, this America match, do you allow yourself to think about it? Does it creep into your head? Do you try to avoid it? How do you approach is that game's a week away and you have some other work in front of you?
Yeah, no, you're thinking about it constantly, and you're thinking about what we need to do to set ourselves up for this match. Obviously, it's a huge opportunity. It's what we play for as players, and so there's no way of getting that out of their match. When Montreal comes up, we'll be ready to play, but there's always that idea, and it's the same for any season. Every game you're playing, there's always that idea of like, how is this setting up for the future? How is this setting us up in the table? And so you're always thinking about other things while playing, but you just need to make sure you do it in the right way. So our goal in Montreal is to play at such a level that it sets us up really well for our rhythm going into Club America, which means going and getting 3 points in Montreal, and the guys will be ready to do that.
And as far as Montreal goes, clearly they've been struggling this year, and then this week's been pretty tough coming off the Toronto defeat, and then they lost in the Canadian Cup. What kind of opponent are you facing on Saturday?
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit before, but they're definitely not in a good moment, so their confidence is low, and against a team like that, the most important thing is to keep that confidence low, to jump all over them from the beginning. Don't let them get a rhythm in the game. Don't let them get their confidence to grow. Don't let them start. They've got a ton of talent on that team, and sometimes things just aren't working. Sometimes the rhythm's off, but they have too much talent for us to let them get into a rhythm and let those players start to show themselves. So if we can jump on top of them from the beginning, crush that confidence, keep that confidence low, get an early goal, that sort of thing, that's when things unravel when you're in these moments. And so that's our goal. Our goal is to jump all over them from the start.
Okay, thank you for the time.
Yeah.
We're going to start with questions in Español aquí en persona with Max, and then we'll transition over to Zoom. Max, go ahead.
Su punto de vista de tu temporada a este momento. ¿Cómo se ve con Marlon Santos en este equipo y qué está buscando en los partidos que vienen aquí en el verano?
Oh, buena pregunta.
Yo de verdad que, bueno, veo que como siempre puedo estar siempre mejorando, creciendo, ayudando a mis compañeros, ayudando al equipo. Por supuesto, ahí cuando estamos juntos, todos conectados, hacemos uno de los otros mejores. Bueno, creo que hasta aquí hemos demostrado esto y esperamos lograr éxitos en esta temporada y traer alegría para nosotros internamente y para nuestra afición también.
Hablando sobre los desafíos para un defensor, cuando empieza un partido y pues está ahí en 90 minutos, pero los desafíos entrando en un partido
Sí.
como suplente, ¿cómo se prepara para esa posición?
Yo creo que de verdad es muy mental. Creo que todo en la vida tú tienes que primero tratarlo mentalmente y ya después disfrutar de lo que viene, porque por supuesto tiene partidos que tienen más importancia que los otros, pero uno cuando estás dentro del fútbol quieres enfrentar todos los partidos como una final, ¿no? Y bueno, creo que sea esto es prepararse mentalmente, por supuesto físicamente y bueno, estar juntos para lograr los éxitos, sí.
¿Jugando en línea de 3 o línea de 4? ¿Qué prefieres?
Stevie. Este es Stevie. Bueno, lo que él diga, nosotros estamos entrenados para esto porque todos los días estamos ya dentro de su filosofía y su modo. Y bueno, lo que digas él.
Muy bien, gracias Marlon.
Gracias a ti. Ok, ahora por Zoom, Daniel.
¿Qué tal, Marlon? Saludos. A preguntarte sobre el partido contra Montreal. Se va de visitante, un viaje largo. ¿Qué retos significa para el equipo? Sobre todo para reencontrarse por lo que se dejó de hacer en la cancha en el partido ante LA Galaxy.
Oh, buenas tardes. Bueno, yo creo que hasta contra el Galaxy también hemos jugado un buen partido. Por supuesto queríamos la victoria, pero no hemos logrado. Pero para el partido de Montreal, por supuesto que es un reto muy importante también y queremos mantener ahí la posición arriba y el objetivo es hacer el máximo de puntos posibles y tenemos que superar este partido también.
Y del aspecto mental, ¿cómo se encuentra o cómo mantener desde tu punto de vista esa concentración en estos partidos de la Liga de MLS? Sobre todo pensando que en mayo 31 se viene el partido, ahora sí que una oportunidad única para LAFC de enfrentar al América. ¿Cómo mantener esa concentración en lo que es la liga antes de llegar a ese juego?
Bueno, creo que esto empieza ya en los entrenamientos. Por supuesto, día a día creo que cuenta mucho y te ayuda mucho a performar y desarrollar lo que hace y cómo lo estamos haciendo con las informaciones que tenemos de nuestro entrenador y la idea que él nos pasa. Bueno, estamos en un buen camino y sí, es mantener mentalmente y físicamente siempre conectado ya en los entrenamientos que después naturalmente se va a performar en los partidos todos que son muy importantes.
Por último, preguntarte eso que mencionaste de la idea del coach Steve Cherundolo. Ya nos hemos acercado casi a la mitad de temporada. ¿Qué tan lejos o tan cerca está el equipo de LAFC en esa idea general que se vive con lo que pide el coach? Porque hemos visto partidos muy ofensivos, muy defensivos, cambiar variantes. ¿Qué tan lejos o cerca se encuentra el equipo de esa idea?
Por supuesto, sabemos que estamos en medio todavía de la temporada, tuvimos muy partido ya y claro, estamos creo que cerca sí porque todos los jugadores que han llegado cogieron muy rápido la filosofía y la idea del club, tuvimos muchos cambios y entonces es normal tener un tiempo de adaptación, pero todos los que han llegado cogieron muy rápido la idea y la filosofía de Steve y bueno, creo que esta conexión que tenemos todos juntos hace toda la diferencia sí en la cancha.
Ok, ahora con Ramo Cortés.
Hola, buenas tardes.
Buenas.
En la misma línea sobre el partido que viene este 31 de mayo, me gustaría escuchar tu opinión. ¿Qué piensas sobre enfrentar al tricampeón de México, que es el América? ¿Y qué es para ti esta oportunidad única de llegar al Mundial de Clubes si es que se avanza? Gracias.
No, de nada, con mucho gusto. Bueno, el partido de sábado, por supuesto, es muy importante y queremos mantener ahí arriba y performando bien. Y por supuesto es un partido inédito, ¿no? Es un partido único y que poner el LAFC en su primer mundial de clubes. Sabemos de la importancia de este partido. Por supuesto ya estamos nos preparando para esto, pero creo que en el fútbol tú tienes que ir como en las escaleras, ¿no? Paso a paso, y esta semana ahora es enfocar en el Montreal y ya la próxima semana enfocar en el América, que también es un partido muy importante.